Hey guys, I'm Autojay and welcome back to my channel. And this is the first ever boosted podcast on this channel. And big thanks to Redline Automotive for making this collaboration possible. So what this podcast is all about is just me and my friends talking about who we are and what the podcast will be about. And thing is, this is the only podcast on my channel, so every single week we're going to release a new podcast, except it won't be on my channel, it'll be on their channel. The link is in the description, be sure to subscribe to them. And also subscribe to me, I'm trying to hit 100 subscribers soon. And a quick tips is this is a podcast. You don't have to watch it all the way, you can just listen to it and do other stuff. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy.
Welcome to the Boosted Podcast. My name is Rocco, and I'm here with Autojay and Vossen. And we are going to be just really talking about what is the Boosted Podcast, how do we know each other, how do we get into cars, like how did we arrive here, and why should you be listening to us in general. So I want you two to introduce yourselves. Say hello to Autojay.
Hey guys, I'm Autojay. I'm part of the Boosted Podcast and I run a YouTube channel on automobiles. So yeah, that's me.
And Vossen.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Vossen, and I'm part of this Boosted Podcast. Hope you guys enjoy.
Okay, so I want to start with, what are we going to be talking about here? So, the Boosted Podcast, the whole goal is to give our opinion on stuff that's going on in the automotive industry. So, a lot of stuff like, what are we doing with electric cars? Like, what are these hydrocell cars? What do we think of gas cars? And then other controversial stuff like the Prius. And then other stuff like that. So really, we're supposed to be just kind of here talking. And as for our personal qualifications, what qualifies you to listen to us? Well, absolutely nothing. None of us are mechanics, but we're all aspiring car guys, and we're all just starting to get into cars, and we're really learning about everything as we go. I'd like to say that we all have at least a year of experience in hard research into fields like the engines and manufacturers and brands and stuff like that. So it's not going to be painful to listen to us, but we might blunder at some points, and we're always welcome to feedback. So if you hear us say something absolutely dumb, just please don't be afraid to comment. We'll probably read it. So I just want to start off with, how do we know each other? So I want Vossen just take it over.
All right, so for me, I met both of you in middle school. First, I met Autojay first in 7th grade, I would say, from a science project. And when I came over to his house to film the science project, or actually do the experiment, I saw him playing some car game, and I figured out that he was actually interested in cars like me. And we just started our conversations on cars from there, and we figured out that we both had an interest. And yeah, we just formed a relationship as friends from there on. And for Rocco, I met him, I think, in 7th or 8th grade.
Yeah, we met in...
And
Yeah.
yes, 7th or 8th grade, I don't remember. He was in my homeroom, and we just talked about... we weren't really completely into cars as much as we were now.
Well, from
but
what I remember of it, I'm sorry to cut you off for a brief second.
It's fine.
We did meet in 7th grade. I remember we sat at the same table, all that stuff. And then in 9th grade, I heard you talking about cars, and I was like, wait, you guys like cars too? Whoa, this is weird. And then you started talking about the engine, and I was just completely blown away. Like, what in the world is an engine? How does it work? And then I did 2 weeks of just ultra hardcore research, just sitting. I was on vacation in Florida, and I was just sitting there researching car parts on my phone, what does this do? What does this do? What does this do? And I came back and I was like, hey, I know all this stuff about the engine, and they were like, what? So then they caught up with me, and now we're just kind of in this state where we all have our specializations. And Autojay, you want to talk about how you met anyone?
Yeah, sure. So I met both of you guys in middle school. I think it was 7th grade when I met both of you guys. I think it was actually in English class or something where we met, and then me and Vossen worked on a project together. So that's how we got to know each other a little bit more. Rocco, we met in lunch, and then I guess our friendship just formed from there. And I didn't realize both of you guys were into cars until 9th grade or something when we started to talk about it.
I remember that.
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
Yeah, I guess we all did a lot of research, and then here we are now.
I'm going to introduce the last member of the podcast who will be steadily running on the podcast if he can. His name is Keegan, and then here, just give me a sec. His name is Rise Up, and basically we're going to, he's just going to be a consistent member. He's part of like the core like 4 or 5 that we consider like the heart of Redline, and generally he's going to be working most hours. So our podcast that we record later at night, he'll be able to chime in. We might let him have like a little message in here just at the end. But this is the core group, and I met Keegan online through a few friends of friends and stuff like that, and really we just all became friends from there. And then I introduced Keegan to Autojay and Vossen through the Discord, and then we just kind of all started talking. We will have several guests appear constantly throughout this. Probably the most abundant one, the most oftenly you guys will be hearing from either Ari and Evan. Those two are they're considered either part of the core group or just outside of it, because there's just they've been with us for a long time. We've all been friends for a long time, and those are two people that we are going to really see a lot. So yeah, basically, so Evan's whole deal is he has a WRX like me, and which I will elaborate on in a second. And Keegan's whole deal, he's going to buy an S14, and then I will explain also for Ari, who is looking at a plethora of cars, but he's also more of a beginner, so he's just very open to all ideas. So I'd quickly like to explain. Out of the entirety of this podcast and of this group, I am one of the 2 people that actually owns like a car they are happy with. Like Ari, he owns I believe a Corolla right now, like a mid 2000s Corolla or something, and he was looking to sell it to get a car that he more enjoys. I own a 2017 WRX, my beautiful blue WRX base model, which I've affectionately named Ishigo. And then we also have Evan, who owns a gray WRX Blava.
I think so. It's from 2002.
Yeah,
I think that's Bug Eye. Yeah, it's Bug Eye.
So, yeah, it's Bug Eye. It's Bug Eye. I knew I said it. Okay. I knew I said Blava, and the second I said that, I was like, no.
I believe Evan also owns a truck as well. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I think Evan, he also bought a truck,
does.
yeah. So
yeah, F250.
It's F250,
right?
yeah.
So yeah, I just want to ask, what cars are you guys looking at? Like, what are you?
Yeah, sure, I'll start. So I've looked at a lot of cars. I think I've gone through 26 options before. But like I'm currently holding off with like a couple options which I keep looking back at constantly. 2 of them I'm looking at right now would be the G35 Coupe and then a Mustang. I'm not going to tell you guys what engine choice I'm looking at for the Mustang, but I'm going to tell you.
Controversial.
I'm not going to tell you what I'm looking at.
First episode.
You already revealed it, to be honest.
The Mustang with the engine that everybody's embarrassed to have, the
V6.
V6. It's okay.
Yes.
Like we understand that
it is.
V6 Mustangs get a lot of flame, but we're gonna try to keep an open mind.
They do, but like
it's
there's
gonna
a lot
be a
of
future
we're
topic.
gonna keep it open to mind and then open up a whole debate about this.
Yes.
The thing is, so both cars are coupes, both are rear-wheel drive, both are V6s. I'm looking at stick shift only. Like the automatics from the generations aren't that fun, so I'm only looking at the stick shifts. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at. How about you, Lawson?
For me, I went through a couple of cars. Then I was really just looking for coupes because I just loved the body shape and how it just flowed. And I came across the 335i, basically the German trio, to be honest. And I didn't have many. I kind of narrowed it down to those 3: the C63, 335i, and the S5. And I just felt a connection with the S5 that I haven't felt with any of the other cars, because it literally has everything I want and just looks amazing. And yeah, I'm just trying to find deals for it, and as it's becoming more rare and expensive, it's becoming a little harder, but I'm gonna try my best to find a deal for it and get. That's my aspiring car.
Yeah, that's a very aggressive starting car. It's got a pretty moderate horsepower rating. It has
and a very capable engine.
car. It's actually a very unexplored platform as well. I want to talk
Yes,
about.
it
I want
is.
to give like dedicate an episode to just talking about our cars and what we look for.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going to end that there. And now I want to ask, like, how did we get into cars? Where did we start with this? And I'll start off with this. I know personally I got into cars from an age I can't remember. Like, my mom still finds drawings of me saying, "Oh, I want to be a race car driver," and stuff like that. And I've never said something more true in my life. I started getting into car brands, like really like the big hypersport luxury brands, like specifically Bugatti, Ferrari, Lamborghini, all the ones everybody idolizes as a kid. And I really just loved to go to car shows and just look at the cool cars. Like, that was just something I've always done. Did a lot of brand research, and then I kind of had a large falling out until I kind of started talking with Vossen and Autojay a lot more, because then we all kind of got back into it. In doing that, I lost some of my brand knowledge. I will not lie; it is a subject of constant teasing. But in doing that, I've also gained possibly the greatest repertoire of engine knowledge in this entire group. At the same time, it's a very close competition, if we're calling it a competition, between all of our knowledge pools.
I mean, to be honest, yeah, we do look at, like, every time we have like an actual complicated engine question, we do ask you.
Yeah,
let's
and
be
then
honest
I'll take
here.
a picture of a car and say, "Oh, look at this cool Audi A7," and you're like, "That's an S3."
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has their own advantages and disadvantages and where their strengths. So yeah.
You want to go next?
So, oh yeah, sure. So basically, my interest in cars, I would say this may seem a little crazy, but since basically the beginning of my life, it may sound a little weird, but yeah. So what happened was, first, my mom, how obviously little kids get toys and stuff, but uh, my mom bought me I think it was a Mercedes SL55. It was like a small red car. And literally everywhere I went, even to the bathroom, I used to always take it. I don't know why. I just loved the car, and I don't know. I just fell in love with cars, and I just figured out that that was my thing and that was my strength, and it was something that I can go into in the future. And I just kept on doing research and loved cars ever since then, and just got into it.
That's a good story. I know for me, I had kind of like a similar experience. I had a lot of Hot Wheels. I actually have a large bucket of Hot Wheels still.
Same.
And I always used to love RC cars and stuff like that. I remember a good story, just really quickly. In 7th grade, we did a competition on who could drive one of the little RC cars.
I remember.
Around the track the fastest.
Oh yeah,
and,
yeah.
I remember.
That was
and
fun.
I was in a class of people who actually own these cars. They practiced and I got to drive the truck. There were two models. There was a truck and the car. They got to drive the car. They owned the model of the car. I got to drive the truck. Then we raced in the car. We set lap times, and I set the fastest lap time, I believe, in the school. So they were really. I had the fastest for my class, at least. I don't remember the exact time, but I had the fastest for my class. I think it was a full second in front of the next highest person, and I set the fastest time of the school. That was fun.
Do you remember the
1 second
time?
in laps is actually a lot.
Exactly. They said I cheated because they knocked the cones out of the way, whereas I just took a better line. The cones weren't really moved. The outside cones were moved, but I took the inside because racing instincts.
Yeah.
Racing.
So you race.
So with that project, as I remember. Yeah, so with that project, I remember, I think I didn't get first place in my class or in the school, but I just say I had a lot of fun with that. It was a lot of fun to drive that type of RC car. I mean, I never drove something like that fast or that capable of an RC car before, but it was a lot of fun.
That fast, but I've driven with that type of controller before.
Same.
I had a Dodge Challenger RC car.
Yeah, I could say I've went at least through 20 RC cars in I'm still a child, but throughout my childhood.
We're all children. We'll always be children.
We're also children.
In our hearts.
Yes.
Giant kids laughing at the time.
All right, so
okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Right. So how I got into cars would be like, I think it was around the age of 5 or something. So my dad always used to take me to Walmart or like a Giant or somewhere and get me like Hot Wheels cars because they used to sell those and all that. And then I used to have a massive collection of that. I think I still do. And my car interest of cars grew a lot. But then like I think it was in 5th grade or something, I took a break and actually got interested in the Legos. But then in 6th grade, I think I went back to cars and everything because cars are so interesting to me. And that's when I really got into the thing of like the brands and everything. So like with Bugatti and like Lamborghini and all the stuff that Rocco said. And that's where like I found interest in. And I always used to pay attention to the speed run, the top speed runs and everything, and who can build the most expensive, coolest car and all that. And then yeah, I just had more research. I did some more research and everything, and here I am now.
Yeah, I remember every time I went to his house for the project, the science experiment. He always used to play. I don't remember the game. Do you remember the game that you used to play on that one iPad?
Was that like Asphalt 7 or something?
No, no, it was some rare
Might
game.
have
I don't
been one
know.
of them.
Yeah, you always used to either use some type of Bugatti. It used to be either the EB110 or the Veyron on the track
Oh,
every
was it
single time.
Need for Speed, the mobile version?
No, no, no. It
I
was
have
just
Need for Speed.
strictly
It was
for
something
like
else.
the track. I think it was like Gear Club or something.
Oh
Huh.
yeah,
Never even heard of that game.
maybe. I don't remember.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
all
a pretty
Forza
good game,
now,
I can
so
say.
Okay,
it's a good
it's a
starting
good
game.
starting game.
You get interested into this
So I
episode.
just want to wrap up this whole discussion with where do we look to take all of this in the future. So obviously, I definitely want to go and do cars for the rest of my life, and I think all of you can share that. Uh,
Hmm.
so I definitely want to
Yep.
get into mechanics and stuff like that more as a hobby than a job. But you know, if it pays well enough, you know, I might just have to take it as a side job. I don't think I'll ever take it as a primary job, but I think it's going to more end up as a very large hobby that I will have for the rest of my life until I am unable to drive anymore. Um, and I definitely want to go into I would love to do amateur racing and stuff like that, and maybe even try to go just a bit further if I am good enough. Right now, it's not looking too great, but um,
I mean, you can't do
yeah.
much right
To be
now.
fair, I
So
just think
yeah,
there are
Yeah.
too many rules of the road, but we can discuss that
I
later.
mean,
I think it's really the rules and the
yeah.
speed limits that distract me the most. Like like I'll be
Mm.
driving, I'm looking down every half second to see am I speeding? Am I speeding?
Always something to
Especially in
watch
your
out
car,
for.
because it always seems
So
like you're
It
speeding,
does.
but
yeah.
no,
That
yeah.
and my car gets
Every
pulled
time I
over
go
the
in your
most
car.
in the entire U.S. So it's like, you know, I'm going 2 over and I'm worried. Meanwhile, this Honda Civic in the left lane is going 100 in like a 40 mile an hour, and nobody cares because it's a Honda Civic. I'm kidding.
That happens. So where I see myself in the future with this, like I'm just gonna leave it as a hobby as well, like same as Rocco. But like I feel like this would be a massive hobby for me, and it's gonna be like well worth it, like to put the money into it, put
Oh
the
yeah,
work into it.
definitely.
But I feel like it's gonna be a lot of fun. And as Rocco said, trying to get into amateur racing, I might want to do that as well, like the track side or autocross. And yeah, that's what I feel like heading in the future.
Yeah, similar thing for me too. I always view cars and automotive industry as a hobby for me. Like if I'm ever bored, I always look into cars or do some research. And I've always looked into racing too. I've just looked into the history of a lot of racing, the F1 specifically, and motorsports. And yeah, I've wanted to get into it. I mean, I wouldn't do it as a main job, like Rocco said before, but I would definitely look into some weekend track days. And yeah, that's how I view it personally.
So yeah, that's going to conclude the first episode of the Boosted Podcast. I hope you all enjoyed. Please check in for next week's topic, where we're going to be talking about electric cars, hydrogen energy, and everything to do with that, and then our opinions on it, especially compared to a gas engine. Thank you for watching.
Yep. Thank you guys for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this first podcast.
Please leave a like if you enjoyed. Thank you.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the video all the way through. I know it was a really long video as this was our first podcast, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. Big thanks to Redline Automotive for making this collaboration possible. The link is in the description below. Be sure to subscribe to them. And guys, be sure to smash that like button and comment down what was your favorite part of this podcast. And also, do you guys like the podcast on my channel or not? And be sure to subscribe to both of our channels. And yeah, that's about it. And big thanks to Vexento for allowing me to use his music in this video. And I guess that's it. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.